I was wondering, did they set out to make a B movie? What's up, everybody? Back today to talk about the latest movie from the Vicious Brothers. Of course, they're the same guys that did Grave Encounters, so hopefully you've seen that movie. If not, go check that one out. It's pretty fun. That one's a paranormal one. This one is called Extraterrestrial, so of course it's based on alien stuff, and it's basically your straightforward alien abduction story, only in this one, you actually get to see some pretty cool stuff, and I thought that was pretty awesome. So if you haven't heard of the Vicious Brothers, this is their third film. I think they did Grave Encounters 1, Grave Encounters 2, and it lists actually the director is Colin Minihan. Apparently he's one of the Vicious Brothers. They also edited the film, I believe. And let's get into the story a little bit. It's basically a group of friends, young at 20-somethings, go out to this cabin in the woods, and there's aliens running around in the woods abducting people. It starts off with kind of this cool scene, then about 20-30 minutes in, it gets into the alien stuff actually, you know, after we're introduced to all the characters and the setup of the story. And, you know, the setup seems a little at first, but by the end of the film, it all kind of plays in together, and I was surprised actually that they tied it in all together. And yeah, so they're in the woods, getting attacked by aliens, and that's the basis of the story. There's a little more to it than that, but let's get into the good and the bad. The good parts were you get to see lots of alien stuff. You know, most of these alien abduction films is they only hint to the aliens, or you see them in flashbacks or something like that. In this movie, they're actually actively attacking the people. It's basically kind of like a slasher film, but with aliens. And they have, of course, different tricks, you know, other than knives and hatchets and crap like that. The story is so basic. You've seen it a million times. People go into the woods and all that stuff. But I thought it was effective. Just the way they finally tied it all together at the end. I don't know. I winded up watching it twice, so I liked it at least that much. There's one great kill. I thought was a good gore effect in the movie, and that was basically the only reason to have the scene in the movie was for a cool gore effect. There's some other cool like abduction scenes and stuff like that. There's just some cool little ideas that they use. It's nothing you haven't seen before, but I like the way they put them in the movie instead of having everything in the shadows and all that stuff. And like I said about the special effects, I thought it was a really good use of CGI and practical effects and stuff like that. If you've seen Grave Encounters, you know that the Vicious Brothers don't shy really away from CGI. And they don't do that in this movie either, and I give them a little bit of credit because they wanted to tell the story their way, and you know, they needed CGI, so there you go. So they used it. So that takes me into the bad things. Maybe too much CGI for people. I mean, the CGI is noticeable, but there's only one little scene that I noticed that, to me, it looked bad. Everything else, there's a little bit of practical effects. I love the cinematography in this film. They use a lot of crazy lighting, reds, greens, blues, stuff like that. Really cool stuff. And then just the generic plot is going to turn a lot of people off. If you don't make it to the ending, the plot's going to seem completely generic. It is generic, but at the end, they kind of wrap it up nicely, so they were thinking the whole time. I like that. Even though the ending, not everybody's going to like it or agree with it. I watched it the second time, and it's hokey as hell, but, you know, this whole movie is like a montage of clips from other movies, and the end is just like another clip from another great movie. That's the whole thing with this film. It's like, you know, you mix your Close Encounters of the Third Kind aliens in with the spaceship, and then they have the, you know, bass note every time the spaceship comes. You have all your crazy lighting. And I just thought the film overall looked really good, even though the acting is crap, the story's generic. There's a lot of essence of other E.T. movies, other horror movies in this movie. And I thought that's kind of fun, and it leads me to believe that the movie's not meant to be taken seriously 100%. A little tongue-in-cheek, just like Grave Encounters, kind of a parody of its own genre. I like that. I found myself laughing at a couple scenes in this movie. You know, the scares are not... It's not a very scary movie, but it's kind of a fun thrill ride. There's a couple of good scenes, like I said, some, you know, abductions and some kills that I thought were kind of cool. But it's not really scary. A great movie for the Halloween season. You know, it's just fun. You put it on. You don't have to think deeply. It's in line basically with all alien abduction theories. My main objections probably were the acting and the CGI. But overall, I thought it was another fun film from the Vicious Brothers. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's a little better than average. Like I said, not the greatest, but you got to check it out at least once. It's a fun film, especially if you like alien abduction films, because this one has a little bit of meat to it, I thought. It's a fun B-movie thrill ride, you know, a little bit of horror, a little bit of aliens. If you've seen Extraterrestrial or Grave Encounters, let me know what you thought down below. I didn't like Grave Encounters 2 as much, but I thought they got back on track with this film. You let me know what you thought of the films down below, and I'll see you soon.